Hello, I am Koreina Cat, and this is Final Fantasy XIV main scenario quest playthrough. Yes, God, the lighting in here is just so bad. Alright, well, Xaeus was absolutely just the greatest, and yeah. Let's contender. So we have to wake Omega up, right? When do we start?
Ida, are you sure that's...
I'm sure, yes. I won't lie and say I'm completely fine, but I'll feel a lot better if I'm doing something useful. Very well. I will remain here and continue coordinating our efforts with the Alliance. Alphino, mayhap you could return to Gridania and assist Y'shtola and Cryo?
a fine suggestion? The rest of us will form the Cartano expedition party. Nira and I will focus on rousing Omega while Ixalia, Ida, and our Domin friends take care of security. Oh, yes! The Excelsior is by the lake just outside of town. We'll leave as soon as everyone is ready.
Just as soon as everyone's ready. Everybody get out. Go. Onwards to Gridania. Never mind, to wherever this is. Gosatsu is an accomplished swordsman. Should it come to battle, he will prove a staunch ally. Would that I could say the same for Nero. I guess he can fight. I did fight him, but I also won, so there's that.
Soon, Omega. Soon, I will see you rise again. Oh, you're right here.
He has this bad habit of just yelling or talking about his plans out loud.
That's why he's not a main villain. Will this contraption truly bear us through the skies?
Gosatsu, are you scared of heights?
A samurai of Doma fears nothing. But gravity still exists.
I was a bit lost for a while back there, but I'll be fine. Trust me. Alright. I don't like that you have that glowy thing around you, but let's go.
Oh, what, this old thing?
Usually means I gotta fight shit, Sid.
We haven't far to go. With any luck. We'll be in Cartano before Gosetsu graces the deck with his dinner. Once there, however, we had best be on our guard. Given that Aline Ryu of the Ivy was still active when Omega was discovered, we can be sure that the Empire has long been aware of its existence. And if Nira deemed it the obvious solution to the threat posed by this new primal, it is not impossible that Garlemald might do the same. Have your weapons ready and your wits about you. Something tells me we're flying into
a fight. Sorry.
Fight.
I guess I'm eager.
Thank you, Sally. I appear to have been at a loss for words there at the end there.
That's okay, Sid. It happens to everybody at some point. Hey, we do... Actually, wait.
Front lines here?
This one hasn't been a front lines for a while, though.
It's true. I wonder what happened.
Yeah. I forgot. Did they take this one out?
I don't think so.
Now, where was that? Ah. I've enabled the teleporter. One brief jump and we shall arrive in Omega's control room.
How convenient. You've been here before.
Of course. It was no easy task threading a path through all the skirmishes. But how could I ignore the existence of such a fascinating toy? You may trust that my preliminary examination was suitably thorough.
Trust? Aye. I trust your appetite for technology.
I chased down a suspect airship, and who should I find but the traitor, Sid Garland. Searching for something, engineer? Something big? It's close, isn't it? It's like all my name days have come at once.
Wasn't here, bowl cut.
Scouts the Empire could have sent. Take care of that brute, will you?
God damn it. Can't let Nero tinker around in there by himself. I'm sorry to leave you to it, but I dare say you'll manage without me. This clod has no idea who he's dealing with.
I am Gosetsu, Samurai of Doma. You will rue your choice of opponent this day.
Wait, so is this how they announced the new class?
I believe so.
Or I'm guessing you would have seen it in the trailer or something first, but...
I believe, yeah, the trailer would have come out by now. So we would have already known.
Can I dance partner? No. God, I'm like useless in these fights.
It's all over now.
I'll stomp these worms to dust myself! This is my fight, understand?
Leave this to
Stay
me.
out of it! Fear my
With
hell!
Sovereign Steel!
I'll break you into pieces!
This one'll sting. No retreat. No surrender.
I may have misjudged the enemy. They should have been stinging the soles of my boots by now. What are you fellas coughing at? Don't just stand there, your captain is
It's
in
my right to
danger!
strike!
Friendly fire!
No holding back. Your defense is lacking.
Look upon a samurai of Doma!
That glory seeker is friendly fire. You hit!
You watching, Pabalimo?
For every yapping cur we strike down, another takes his place. How many soldiers did he bring? Surrender. We have you outnumbered.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Are you still playing with those soldiers? Ugh. I suppose I can lend you one of my toys, but only if you promise to give it back.
I guess they hear my head nod.
Behold, the Red Baron. Now end this nonsense. What the? No one told me they'd have magic armor! Forward! For the Empire!
Listen here, bowl cut. You've met your match.
The honorless Cur thinks to abandon his men. I shall see that he shares their fate. Pray attend to the rest of his minions.
No problem. Come on, let me blow stuff up.
You watching, Pabalimo? An opening.
'Tis my right to strike!
This one'll sting. No retreat. No surrender.
Did you hear
With
that?
soul and steel!
Whoa! Watch out for the big one! Look out.
It's all over now.
Ha!
Your
You have felled
defense
a
is
titan!
lacking.
But that still only counts as one!
I have you!
That's pretty great.
I love it. A Lord of the Rings reference.
I will handle these soldiers. Pray dispose of the giant.
No holding back.
Giants.
Leave this to me.
Look upon a samurai of Doma!
You watching, Pabalimo? An opening.
Nice shot.
'Tis my right to strike!
This one'll sting.
The Colossi are scrap! And the captain is often hits us as often as the enemy! Enough! Time for a tactical withdrawal! You can't just run off! Deciding a battle is punishable by death! I order you to stand your ground! Come back here now! Please? You bring this fate upon yourself. Now that's just embarrassing. Pitiful.
No retreat. No surrender.
Damn it all to the seventh hell! How can you bastards if it's the last thing
With
I
soul and
do?
steel!
It's all over now. Your defense is lacking.
I have you!
No holding back. Leave this to me.
You tell him, honey.
What?
You haven't seen the last of me. Mark my words. It'll be you who rules this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see about that.
Temporal stasis disengaged. All systems operational. Garland?
All clear on this side. It's waking up.
Remarkable. Omega sensors immediately detected the presence of the cocoon, even at this distance. They must have been set to scan for sources of energy exceeding certain magnitudes.
I still don't see any means to control the machine directly. It seems to have been designed to act wholly autonomously. Once we release Omega, we can be fairly certain it will attempt to capture the primal at Belsar's wall. Assuming its mission is successful, our only option at that point will be to re-engage its stasis system and put it back to sleep.
And should the machine happen to misbehave, we'll simply initiate an emergency shutdown. I confess, we don't yet have a complete grasp of its capabilities, but I'm certain the details will not elude us for long.
Well, I understood less than half of that. So, my question to you is, are we doing the right thing?
Well, what do you think?
What do I think?
I know, and nobody ever talks to you. Nobody ever asks how I feel either, so, you know.
All right. Step aside, Sid. Is this the thing I need to press?
Yes, that's the one.
You gave too much for us to waste this chance, Papalimo. So this is for you. And me.
Yes! Fly free, my pretty! Show us what you can do.
He's so suspicious every
The
time.
launch sequence has begun. Omega is loose.
Aren't we all inside of Omega right now?
Huh? Omega has stopped transmitting. But that shouldn't be. I didn't engage the stasis system.
And what does this signify? I have little understanding of these contrivances.
The launch went exactly to plan, but all signals emanating from Omega have ceased. This may indicate any number of things, but we will need to join the Scions out in the field if we are to ascertain which one.
Right. I've ordered a malfunctioning beast to go to sleep. That should prevent any unfortunate mishaps. I suggest we make our way back to Gridania.
Omega destroyed the cocoon. Papalimo's spell is fading. It was bound to his ether, you see. And if the connection is broken...
Wait, does that mean that there was a chance he was still alive?
Until that happened, yes.
No.
I'm not sure why we lost contact with Omega, but I mean to find out. Let's be on our way.
So he didn't actually die yet, and now he is.
No, he did, but the cocoon was connected to his ether, so like if the cocoon vanished, or like there was, because you didn't really see his body or anything, there was a chance he was alive, but with the cocoon being made of his ether, and then that dispelling along with his spell, that means he is gone.
Oh.
I came as soon as I heard the Excelsior had been spotted on its approach. One moment, everything was functioning perfectly, and the next it wasn't. It makes no sense. We need to see what happened for ourselves, and soon. Words can ill express how glad I am to see you all unharmed. When Omega came hurtling towards the cocoon, everything dissolved into chaos.
I have to see it. I have to see it with my own eyes.
Ida, wait! We first must... the Elder Seedseer is expecting us.
Worry not, Alphino. Gosetsu and I will watch over her. You may safely attend your meeting.
My thanks, Yugiri. The council reconvened a short while ago. Let us make haste for the Lotus Stand. All there are eager to hear your testimony.
Onwards to the Lotus Stand.
I was a little confused as to what I was looking at with her too.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on with her head? It was her hair color and just she was facing a different direction, so it made it look like I don't
Aye.
know. It's just weird. I'm here. I'm here. I've made it. I'm sorry I'm late. I am so sorry. Don't feel like talking to everybody. Let's go. My friends, full eagerly we have awaited your return. You indeed could have discharged the duty entrusted to you, and most humbly do we thank you for seeing it done.
You're too kind, Elder Seatsia. As I recall, we as good as demanded the right to try. But tell me, how did the battle unfold? We succeeded in... Wait... Okay. We succeeded in waking Omega Eye, but we lost contact with the weapon shortly after it launched. From our position in the control room, we were blind to all that followed.
So, like, that was a big-ass explosion. Did that not destroy a bunch of shit?
Which one?
Just the fight with Omega and whatever that thing was.
I think it blew a hole in Van Baelsar's wall, maybe? I guess we'll find out.
What words could do justice to such a scene? None of my choosing, that much is certain. But I can give you the facts. The cocoon hatched even as Omega arrived, and from its midst rose a great dragon. The pair dually set about each other in the skies over Girabania.
The primals might defy... The primals might defy belief. It seemed the very heavens would be rent asunder by the force of its blows. And it wielded such magics as I have never seen, and hope never to see it again. The battle raged on with no end in sight until both combatants were engulfed in a blinding flash of light. When the radiance faded, I saw the pair fall motionless from the sky, coming to rest somewhere on Alamegan soil. I will not speak for the rest, but to my eye it seemed that each had landed a fatal blow upon the other.
Well, most among us could... Oh God, why are we both struggling so much suddenly? While most among us could think only of Bahamut when looking upon the primal's form, the Domans were heard to whisper the name Shinryu. It would appear that the being resembled a creature of Far Eastern legend, and we have found it convenient to refer to it as such. This Shinryu's fate, and indeed that of Omega, is yet unknown. We have, alas, no eyes on the Girabanian side of the border.
Aye, which is why we have sent our main force under the command of Marshal Taropin to capture the wall. With the Imperials in disarray, we have the perfect opportunity to secure Gridania's border and assess the aftermath of the impact. I myself will join the Marshal and his men when the Council is adjourned. Well, that explains a few things. I'll wager that flash of light coincided with our loss of contact. Lest you wonder, we quickly re-engaged Omega's stasis system, so even if it has fallen to the Empire's lap, it will be of no use to them, save perhaps as a statue. Correct. Without me to guide the efforts, it would take them decades to decipher Omega's core functions, if they managed it at all.
Such reassurances do much to calm our fears, yet the relic's fate is but one of the several concerns.
Indeed. I humbly submit that the time has come for us to make contact with the Resistance representatives in Girabania. Though Ilbert has forced our hand, it would seem only logical to seek an alliance given the inevitability of Imperial retaliation. And by working in concert, it is not impossible that Alamigo might finally be wrested from Garlemald's grasp. This operation to take the wall will be Ishgard's first military action under Alliance banners. Though I have no appetite for bloodshed, a part of me is glad of the chance to begin reparations for our past inaction.
Pray accept my humblest and most earnest thanks once again, Warrior of Light. Had Shinryu been suffered to roam free, the 12's would surely have been laid to waste. Oh, 100%.
I go to oversee operations at Balesar's Wall. You have done your part. Leave us to handle the initial Imperial reprisal and rest while you may.
Okay. When the primal emerged, I was, for an instant, transported back to Cartano. To the moment the black worm made an eighth hell of the battlefield. Gladly would I live out the rest of my days without seeing such a sight again. That's fair.
If, as seems likely, we put Omega into stasis after... What did they call it? Ah, yes. After Shinryu was defeated, we should have little to fear from either one of them. I should very much like to see this Shinryu creature for myself. You must be exhausted. I would ordinarily suggest that we retire directly to the Rising Stones, but I wonder if we might first make a small detour. Ishtal and the others have gathered at Amerisa's Spire, and I imagine that you too would be interested to see what has become of the wall now the cocoon is gone. Now that the cocoon is gone, maybe? It is decided then. Lead on.
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe one typo in the entirety of, like, ARR, post-ARR, Heaven's Word, and...
Maybe. I'm sure there was others, and I know for a fact that we've misspoke. We've added words or taken away words that were there. What the hell is that?
That is probably the Rubelux curl of something or another. It's the Endwalker trial mount.
Oh.
And yeah, I've butchered the hell out of a lot of these lines.
Oh, 100%. Oh my gosh. I'm like over here struggling. So much.
No trace of the cocoon remains. 'Tis as if it never existed.
Oh, thank the 12. After witnessing Omega's single-minded onslaught, I had visions of you being trapped between it and its target. Hardly the most rational concern, I concede. But if you had seen what I saw... Okay, but that was still like a big-ass explosion. There would be more damage, yes?
My friends, I cannot well express how glad I am to see you both unharmed. They say that Omega's clash with the primal shook the very firmament.
You need not have worried. The battle took place far above the ground. We were able to observe in relative safety, though I'm given to understand that there were casualties on the far side of the wall.
It was like watching a nightmare unfold before our very eyes. Ilbird's primal manifested in the form of a colossal dragon, a being of pure violence. It burst forth from the cocoon with such terrible force.
That such a horror should spring from the eyes of Nidhogg comes as no surprise. Nor do I wonder at its form. Ilberd all but announced it in the moments prior to his death. Plainly, it was his dying wish to visit a second calamity upon the Empire.
And I am quite certain the abomination would have obliged had it not found itself outmatched by Omega. Gods! I am no stranger to the works of Allag, but even I was unprepared for the machine's furiosity. It beggared belief.
And how fares poor Ida in the midst of all this? Have you spoken with her?
She is up on the platform, lost in thought. We deemed it best not to disturb her, but mayhap she would welcome some company after all. Shall we?
The light's gone. It was all we had left of him.
Ida.
I don't blame anyone. I knew what was going to happen. I knew the spell Papalimo meant to cast would drain away his life force. I knew that it would only buy us a little time.
Ida, there is no need to explain.
But there is. I can't hide in Papalimo's little shadow anymore, and I shouldn't hide behind my sister's mask. 20 years ago, on the day the Empire marched into Alamigo, I was still just a child, not even 5 summers old. My father had been one of the leaders of the revolution. He had fought to overthrow the Mad King, Theodoric. And my sister had fought alongside him. But she was strong and kind, and always knew what to do. But when the Garleans came, everything changed. My father went to war against them too, and I never saw him again. After that, I remember a lot of running. My sister dragged me for malms and malms until we came to the city of Charlian. That was where she met Master Louis Soir. He introduced her to the Circle of Knowing, and she eventually became an Archon.
She was your inspiration. Is that not why you took up her mask and her name? Or did you simply mean to continue what she had started?
You've known all along, haven't you? That I wasn't Ida.
Of course. We all recognized you at once. 'Twas Papalimo who persuaded us to maintain the charade.
It was silly to think I could fool you. I knew that even then, but I sort of decided not to know. Ida died 6 years ago, on a mission to smuggle refugees out of Alamigo. They say she was overwhelmed by Imperial soldiers when she stayed behind to save a little girl. She was so strong. There must have been a lot of them. I'm sorry for lying to you. My real name is Lise. When Papalimo brought me Ida's mask, it was meant as a keepsake, but I decided I wanted to be his new partner, to keep alive all the good that she had done. I didn't want to become Ida, exactly. At the time, though, I still didn't know who I was myself, and it almost seemed easier to play the role. Papalimo agreed to help, of course, but it was never what he wanted for me. He wanted me to walk my own path, and those were his final words to me. The Archon's mark he gave me is faded, and my last excuse along with it. So this is it. Whatever I choose to do from now on, I do as Lise. And I choose to continue my family's fight. I want Alamigo to be the country that Ida and my father always wanted it to be.
War is upon us once more.
Do you regret standing against the Empire? Would you have chosen a different road, knowing what you know now?
To claim that I never doubted the decision would be a lie. But I made my choice, and I have defended it with blade in hand ever since.
The battle continues, and our steel is needed. Come, Shadow Walker, we leave for the east, for Doma.
It was brave of Lise to remove her mask after so long. Though she has scarce begun to come to terms with Papalima's loss, that one act made plain her determination to move forward. And should she ever falter, we shall be there to support her on this road she has resolved to walk. Let us return to the Rising Stones. We have quite a story to tell to Tara and my sister.
Oh, is that it? Is that the... Ah, damn it.
What did you think of the entirety of Heaven's Word?
It was alright. No, I'm kidding.
It was alright.
It was great. Like, there was just intrigue and like everything with a Dragon Song War felt like it was really gonna be between life and death. Because if we didn't fix this, then it got to the point where they probably wouldn't have survived. And then, of course, getting to, it shows him punching. And then, of course, post Heaven's Word was great. It was definitely, a ride. Knowing what I know, like everything that happens later, really shocked that they introduced certain stuff now. I won't say what it is just because, you know, spoilers, but
Supplies.
oh, he gets his own. Cry. Anyway, I'm not good at these things. What would you like to say?
I am very happy with how their first expansion after like the evil empire Trump story bit went, because when A Realm Reborn first occurred, I was very happy that they resurrected the MMO and that they made it everything it needed to be. But for me at the time, it was nowhere near enough. They got to the point where they could stand amongst other MMOs, but they didn't stand out. And their story, as much as I hated it initially, just like base ARR, I was like, this is extremely unoriginal and extremely uninspired, and the execution is terrible. And then Heaven's Word came out, and it was like every problem I had with ARR got flipped. The story's amazing, the voice acting is amazing, the classes are fun, the content is great. I had 1,000,001 throwbacks to a bunch of Final Fantasies that I loved and grew up on, and I won't say that Heaven's Word is my favorite expansion, but it's probably the one I appreciate the most because it's the one that made 14 as a whole stand out, and that's why whenever I tell people to play the game, like, just get past ARR, get to Heaven's Word, because if you play through Heaven's Word, you know what you're in for, and you know that it will be an amazing ride.
Definitely. Yeah, like with ARR, it was clearly lacking some stuff, but especially with this playthrough of it, like I noticed that like it wasn't like that bad, right? Like, I mean, yeah, we still talked shit about it because it still had its problems, but like it there was just so much that it laid the groundwork for it. And then of course we get to Heaven's Word, and then it's just like you're going full sprint the entire time, and it's like when you get to that point, it's kind of just crazy.
I would say that's because the pacing for Heaven's Word is pretty spot on. Like, at no point does it feel like you're doing something that's boring, or you're just like given the runaround or anything like that. There's like one or two parts I can think of where they like have you go back and forth, but the back and forth is between pretty major cutscenes, or at least important conversations. And that's another thing. Every conversation is important. As important as what's going on.
Yeah.
And
they like I think the only time that I felt like I was doing kind of like busy work, which is what MMOs have problems with, is just giving you busy work. Come here, don't just sit on the couch. But the busy work, the only time it felt like that was the very beginning of Heaven's Word, when you went to help Amandaline, and then Terrell, however the hell you say his name. Those are the only times that I felt like it was like really busy work. And even then, that was you getting an introduction to their individual characters and like how they are as people.
With Amandaline, I can see it feeling like busy work because like he's voicing his task off onto you. It is literally busy.
I was about to say, he was literally given busy work, so yeah.
But even then, it introduced Bismarck, and like there was fun to be had along the way with Honorwa and Amandaline being little shit. But with Artorwell, like they essentially pretty quickly have you going to find the heretics, and then you have that conversation with Xaeus right before, which leads to her eventually joining the party.
Yeah. And it's like, everything kind of just felt like you were getting to know the characters more, and obviously, like, there's certain characters that I think really, like, stood out, I guess. Because, like, I mean, like, Hashafant right from the beginning was obviously very good. And that was post-ARR. It wasn't even just in Heaven's Word. And so it's like, losing him was, oh my god.
Yeah.
But it's... Heaven's Word definitely, like, I'm not personally big fan of like politics type stuff, but like the politician, quote unquote, that you're interacting with a lot was Amaric, who does not feel like a politician, right? And that's because he was more so, he was like a politician and you know, the Lord Commander person, so like he had like the military aspect of it too. But he was surprisingly, like, easy to interact with, despite being highborn, a politician, and a military leader. Like, the fact that he was so likable is honestly genuinely surprising. And then even then, like, you get, like, lore drop on, like, Lucia, and I'm guessing she doesn't hold any hard feelings against us killing her sister. But and then Ysael was great, because it's like everything she was doing, like, even though how she was going about it didn't sit right, it, like, I see where she was coming from. I see why she was trying to do what she was trying to do. The way she was going about it wasn't right, but how else was she going to be able to achieve what she did? And obviously it still got her where she ended up. So she did something right, I guess. And then with Estenian, right, you saw his character change. And, like, even in the end, like, he still knew that, even though he was, like, on the complete other side of Ysael, that he still acknowledged that she sacrificed herself for peace. And that was, you know, technically what they were all trying to do at that point. So
they're going from, like, the Silence of Sonton ARR, where they have personality somewhere, but you don't see them, to Heavensward, where, like you said, with, like, Ysael and Lucia and Estinian, where they have all these, like, interwoven connections and depth to them, and different approaches to the problem as a whole, was absolutely wonderful and astounding.
yeah. And, like, even watching like Alphino changed so much from ARR to now. Even throughout, like, post Heavensward, like, we saw the change in him, like, and it's all because, like, Estinian kind of woke him up to that. Like, hey, there's a chance that this warrior of light won't come back. Like, maybe she will die. We don't actually know. She's, you know, succeeded so far, but there's still that chance. And that's what really woke him up to, like, oh shit, like, this person that I've been having, you know, run errands for me, and who's basically, like, the world's best bodyguard, there's, you know, she's still a person, right? And knowing how, like, Shadowbringers and Endwalker is, like, I don't remember much of Stormblood, so I'm hoping there's some there too, but, like, specifically with Shadowbringers, you see how much the characters that you travel with care for you, and it's great. And it also makes it to where, like, you want to succeed because, you know, you care about them as well, and you don't want them to get hurt or die. So you have a personal stake in it now, besides just, I'm just here to do shit. Like, with post Heavensward, it obviously had to wrap up the Heavensward stuff, and then also introduce the stuff with Stormblood. And I'm excited for Stormblood because, like, going back through everything. So, like, my initial playthrough of all this stuff, I wasn't overly fond of ARR, clearly. I skipped most of it. But then I also don't remember much of Heavensward. And I don't think I remember much of Stormblood either. I think I remember, like, certain stuff. But, like, I remember, like, certain key people that we meet, but I don't remember, like, the story so much. So I'm, like, really excited to, like, go back through it and see, because I just think that, I think that going through it how we're going through it right now is kind of like opening stuff up to us a little more than what we initially thought, I guess.
I know it is for me, because like my few times going through this story, sorry. My first few times going through the story, I didn't talk to everybody. I was just like, I looked at like the main quest dialogue, and that's about it. So, them asking certain questions like, how did Nero know about the meeting? How did anyone get their hands on Nidhogg's eyes when it's this abyss? And some of those questions get answered, but there's a lot of details, especially with the character relationships in the side dialogue, that I'm really sorry I missed. Like, I had no idea that I knew Horribolder had a brother. I didn't know that their bard was crushing on both of the brothers at the same time, while their healer was like, "Sis, calm down." And that's freaking great.
And see, I also almost didn't even talk to them, because it's like, I know that like all the main characters have important stuff that are like clearly story related, but now I'm like weirdly invested in this random ass side shit that I found out. And like, what's up with the Nutkin that's just following Thancred around now, I guess?
Special thanks to producer and director Naoki Yoshida for making all of this a possibility.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The savior of the entire Final Fantasy franchise at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yay. Anyway, with Stormblood, I am definitely excited to see Yida, now Lise, grow into her own character, because obviously up to this point she's been pretty just one-dimensional, I guess. Like, you saw snippets of her actually caring about something other than just beating stuff up in post Heavensward here, but other than that, there's not a whole lot that there's not a whole lot to her yet, so I'm excited to see her and hopefully not be as annoyed with her as I was when my initial playthrough, because I did not like her as a character. But clearly we also already know I apparently don't pay attention a lot, so
all right,
here we are. It's all new to me.
Well, her growth is interesting. It's not going to be anywhere near on, like, say, Alphinaud's level.
Which is
I think,
upsetting, since she's, I'm pretty sure, going to be like the main character of the next expansion.
Well, it's still good, which is like with Alphinaud's archetype, it's kind of different. Seeing this character, it's a different experience seeing a character go from extremely unlikable to watching them grow and then change and realize what they were doing, or that it was a problem in the first place. Whereas with Lise, it's like she didn't have a personality to come from. It's like going, it's like going from room temperature to warm, as opposed to going from being very cold to being very warm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So enjoy your lukewarm Lise.
Oh, joy. Yay. But I am definitely excited to see where Stormblood is going to... Oh, hey, he's back. And he's... Oh. I will definitely talk to everybody when I start the Stormblood stuff. But it's... I want to see where it goes. I want to see if it's as... not necessarily bad, because like it's not their strongest expansion, but that doesn't mean it's bad, right?
I've heard people say that, and like I know a couple points that can point to as to why, but I'm looking forward to actually breaking it down for myself, because like again, the weakest expansion doesn't mean it's bad. Like, people can harp on it all they want. I still enjoyed the hell out of it.
Oh yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of interesting characters that we'll interact with. Like, I'm excited to interact with Gosetsu more because he's just great. And a bunch of unnamed ones that I'm not gonna name because, you know, clearly. But there's definitely stuff to look forward to, and I'm hoping because of how we're going through things that we see some stuff that maybe we both missed. I know I'm gonna see stuff I missed because, you know, it's me. But with you specifically, like, there's stuff that you missed because you didn't talk to all the characters like we are right now. And so it's gonna be really interesting seeing that, and maybe it actually connects some dots that we missed or that aren't readily available unless you talk to them like that. So
I look forward to seeing it all again.
yes. Speaking of talking to people,
You should have seen the look on Tataru's face when I recounted Lisa's. I realized in retrospect that I should perhaps have waited for you to return. I also told Alice. Apologies.
thanks, Alpha. No, thanks. He may have mentioned, but Alphino has apprised me of all that came to pass in Gridania. Your only task now is to rest. This is the calm before the storm. What?
Of blood.
Of blood? Oh. Lise has chosen her path, and as her friends, we must do what we can to support that choice. We are fated to join the conflict in any case. Once the Alliance has taken the wall and opened the way to Girabania, we will have little choice but to fight. Which is not to say that the cause is unworthy. After all, ignoring the plight of those whom one might conceivably save is not wisdom, but indolence. Correct? I, for one, am looking forward to joining hands with the Alamegans and striking a blow to the tyranny of the Empire, as I rather suspect do you.
Quick march. The Imperials will soon come to their senses, and we must be ready to face their retribution. It's almost time, Father. Aye, almost. Stand firm, Pippin. I learned to brace myself against the charge of the Bull of Alamigo. No foe will dislodge me. Very well, little bird. I will take our homeland back. For the both of us.
Ralwan joins the party.
My Lord Viceroy, our scouts have confirmed the preliminary reports. Versal's wall has fallen to the Eorzean Alliance. The hunt for Omega, the unknown icon, continues. The hunt for Omega and the unknown icon continues, though both yet elude us. My lord, their battle caused considerable damage across the region. Should we perchance divert some of our forces from the search to undertake necessary reconstruction work? Forgive me, my lord. I did not intend... Your will be done. Unknown. My spies tell me the Domans call it Shinryu, and that it proved a match for Omega. Yes. The coming days promise to be most interesting. Most interesting.
At the far edge of fate, the road begins anew. The heroes look to eastern skies and behold their crimson hue. A dawn of liberation, a gathering storm of blood. Oh! That's why it's called Stormblood. Did I get a new title? What's my new title? Fate Walker. All right, well, any last remarks?
Play Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, and now with free expansion and free trial.
I have a t-shirt that has, well, this is back before they added Stormblood to it, but I have a t-shirt that has all of that written on it. It's pretty funny. It's great.
Congratulations.
Yay, we finished Heaven's Word and post Heaven's Word. Woo! Next up is Stormblood. Yes. Anyway, I will probably look very different next time you see me, so, yep. Until next time, on Final Fantasy XIV main scenario quest? Yes, playthrough. Yes. Damn it, I forgot to wave. That's fine. I'm waving now. All right. I'm done waving. All right, well, that's a great way to end it. Bye-bye.